In early 90s, Nissan unleashed a small but mighty beast, one that was built to dominate rally stages and shake up the streets. This was a car with the engine straight from a legend, all-wheel drive, a power-to-weight ratio that could embarrass much bigger cars. But despite all its potential, it faded into obscurity. Today we are looking back at the Nissan Pulsar GTI-R, why it was built, its brief but exciting rally career, and why it's still one of the most underrated JDM hot hatches ever made. This is the racing helmet, let's dive in. To understand why Nissan created the GTI-R, we need to go back to the late 1980s. At the time, Group A rallying was the dominant force in motorsports, with manufacturers like Toyota, Lancia, Ford, and Subaru battling for supremacy. The rules required that any car competing had to have a road-going version. This was called homologation. Nissan already had a strong motorsport presence, especially in endurance racing and touring cars. But they wanted a piece of the rally world. Their weapon of choice? A small, lightweight hatchback with big ambitions. Enter the Pulsar. Nissan took their standard compact hatchback and transformed it into something wild, the GTI-R. It was small, it was turbocharged, and it had one goal: to compete in World Rally Championship. In 1991, Nissan entered the GTI-R into the World Rally Championship under the Nissan Motorsport Europe team. The car was built to Group A specifications, meaning it was nearly identical to the road car, but with significant upgrades for competition. It had reinforced suspension, a stripped-out interior, and more aggressive dynamics. On paper, it had everything needed to succeed. A 2-liter turbocharged SR20 DET making around 300 horsepower in rally trim, a lightweight chassis, and Nissan's ATTESA all-wheel drive system. But things didn't go as planned. The GTI-R suffered from several key weaknesses. First, it had the front heavyweight distribution, which made handling unpredictable on rough rally stages. Second, it lacked the durability of competitors like the Toyota Celica GT4 and Lancia Delta Integral. Nissan also struggled with the team management and funding, meaning the development fell behind other manufacturers. Despite showing flashes of potential in national rally championships, the GTI-R never made a serious impact in World Rally Championship. By 1992, Nissan pulled the plug on the project, and the dream of a rally-winning Pulsar was over. But while its rally career was short-lived, its street version would go on to build a cult following of its own. Also, if you are still watching, consider subscribing for more legendary cars. The street version of the Pulsar GTI-R wasn't just a watered-down rally car, it was a full-fledged performance machine. At the heart of this rocket pocket was the legendary SR20 DET engine, a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 producing 230 horsepower and 280 Nm of torque. This was the same engine that powered cars like the Nissan Silvia and 180SX, but in an all-wheel drive hot hatch. Thanks to its ATTESA all-wheel drive system, the GTI-R could launch from 0 to 100 km in just 5.4 seconds, putting it in the same league as high-performance sports car of its era. In fact, it was often called the baby Godzilla because of its similarities to the R32 GTR. One of the GTI-R's most distinctive features is the massive hood scoop, designed to fit air to the top-mounted intercooler. While this setup worked well in ideal conditions, the heat soaked from the engine meant many owners later switched to front-mounted intercoolers. Inside, the GTI-R was all about function over luxury. You got lightweight Recaro-style bucket seats, a no-nonsense dashboard, all the controls you needed to experience the raw performance of this little beast. The Nissan Pulsar GTI-R was one of the fastest hot hatches of its time. but it never reached the mainstream success of cars like the Lancia Delta or Subaru WRX STI. Still, it remains a hidden gem in the JDM world. One reason: tuning potential. The SR20 DET is one of Nissan's most famous engines, and with simple mods like a bigger turbo, front mount intercooler, and a better engine management, these cars can easily push over 300 to 400 horsepower. Combine that with all-wheel drive, you have a serious performance machine. But the GTIR's rarity also played a big role in its legend. Unlike some of its rivals, only about 40,613 units were ever made. Many were either crashed, rusted away, or modified beyond recognition, making clean examples extremely valuable today. The GTI-R might not have a long rally career, but it left an undeniable impact on Nissan's performance lineup. It showed what was possible with a small, turbocharged all-wheel drive hatchback, something we'd see in cars like the Subaru WRX and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. So, what do you think about the Pulsar GTI-R? Was it an underrated legend, or did Nissan make the right call by moving on? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell for more JDM history. This is the Racing Helmet, and I will see you in the next one.